do tell your friends to join. So first of all, good evening everyone. I am Adrita Chakraborty, the coordinator at RCC Techs and the DSA and Basic Programming Lead at GTGC RCC IIT. So first of all, it's great to see such an enthusiastic crowd like asking all of the questions in the chat box itself. So today for the special session, especially on the day of Mahalaya, so on behalf of GDG on-campus RCCIIT and RCC Techs, I would like to welcome you all to this event that is Path to Google Summer of Code. Okay. So before we dive into today's session, let's try to understand why we are here. I think the people who had joined the previous event, like on open source only, they got to know about what is open source contribution, why we should do it. So basically, just to give a brief introduction, one of the best platforms for the developers to start their journey with open source is Google Summer of Code. So basically, GSoC is a global platform focused on bringing more and more contributors into open source software development. And today we have our honored speaker who has contributed more than once in this GSoC. So Soham Banerjee da is here. So I would like to introduce him a bit. So Soham da is a 2 times GSoC contributor. Has contributed more than once, as I said, 2 times GSoC contributor with open source organization Fossology. He has not only contributed but also mentored at GSoC for the same organization. I was looking like going through it. So currently he is working as an LFX Mentee at CNCF-Konveyor. So without further ado, I would like to give the stage to Shohanda. Shohanda, you can take the stage and guide us all through like how to get into GSoC and what are the steps for it.
Sure. So, hello everyone. Hope I'm audible and visible. So, just type in the chat if everyone is able to hear me, if every audio video setup is alright or not, because that's very important. So, yep. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this session. Today, we will be discussing about not only how to get into the Google Summer of Code, and today's discussion is all about how to explore and how to enjoy this whole journey. And through this enjoyable journey, one can not only get into Google Summer of Code, but there are multiple open source programs that they offer. So there are a lot of rewarding mentorship programs. We'll be focusing on Google Summer of Code a bit more, but I'll be touching all the other mentorship programs that are there in the open source world. So let me just share my screen because it's not a session without PPT. So let me know if it is visible. Mm, just type in the chat if it is visible. I guess it's visible. All right, perfect. So in today's session, what we will be discussing about is that what is Google Summer of Code, what makes it different from all the other mentorship programs, and then of course the preparation for it, how can we approach, how can we find suitable organizations for us and get familiar with that particular organization. This is the basic step of preparation for these open source mentorships. And next comes the application. How do we apply? I mean, how do we get to know the mentors, get to know about the projects and apply for those project specific vacancies that they offer? So that's another thing. And lastly, but not the least, the most important part, that is the work that we do during the Google Summer of Code coding period. So this is what we are going to cover up. And addition to that, we'll be seeing a lot of other mentorship programs other than Google Summer of Code, which is also very rewarding. So let's just move forward. So what is Google Summer of Code? Has anyone, just one person can give me a brief description of the Google Summer of Code thing in the chat? That would be nice. So anyone in the chat. Let's make this thing an interactive one. It would be entertaining. The more interaction, the more entertaining thing it will be. It's going to be a fun session. What is Google Sum of Code? I just don't chat GPT and paste that. That would be bad. Come on. Mm, nobody has. Okay, open source contribution platform for developers to contribute and collaborate with. Good. Can contribute to open source projects. It is not a platform, it's a program offered by Google. So it's not a platform like GitHub or GitLab where you can contribute. It's a program that is offered by Google. It starts from the month of May tentatively, changes a bit here and there. So it's a program which brings the students and early professionals with seasoned professionals in order to develop and make uh, make enhancement of the already existing open source projects. So this is what Google Summer of Code is all about. So the main objective of Google Summer of Code is that it gives the students and the early professionals a learning platform. It makes the student understand what actual development is and how the industrial development pattern works. So, what we do in hackathons and college projects is that we come up with an idea, we directly start coding with no proper uh, planning and all everything. We just dive into the code, make mistakes, solve it, again make mistakes, and solve it. So, there's an infinite loop in this amateur coding style. So once you get into these open source organizations, you will see how the industry works. So there is a proper planning phase. There are review meetings. There are code reviews, and everything that you will be experiencing in these mentorship programs will be useful for your professional life. So that's the main goal of this particular programs. So like a pseudo organization setup. I'll get to that. It's not an issue. I'll get to that. How the organizations are related with Google. Even I'll get into the details how you will be getting, how the stipends are getting paid, and how this entire sponsorship thing works. So that's the main thing. All right. So that is all about what is Google Student. So what makes this particular program different from the other mentorship programs that are there in the open source world? So, it, of course, for example, the name of Google, the tag of Google is a huge one. Everyone fights for that particular tag because it's a huge brand in the name of in the tech industry, right? So wherever you go, they will be knowing that this particular person has been through a program which is monitored by Google, and that means that you have certain standard in you and you have passed that thing. So it's a proof of quality, to be honest. So you need not to be proving yourself again that look, I have quality, I can build stuff. The certificate for this program speaks for itself that yes, you have built stuff and you have built quality stuff. So that's the main thing about the tag of Google. Other than that, we have Linux Foundation mentorships. We have other uh, programs like Summer of Bitcoin, Igalia, Code of Summer, something like that. It's a huge chart. I do have a chart. I'll show you that. Don't worry, we'll get to that later. So one person might not be suitable for one for not for Google Summer of Code, but he has a huge interest in Web3, so he has a greater chance of acceptance in Summer of Bitcoin. So there are multiple programs for multiple tech stacks. That's the thing. So this is the 2024 program statistics. 116 contributors from 116 countries participated. This is four more countries than the last year, and 168 organizations, 45 million lines of code, and 967 contributors. So these are some statistics just to understand uh, how huge the program is. So that's the thing. So what I explained in earlier slide, that is the thing. The what sets Google Summer of Code apart, that is recognition, industry level experience, and of course the name speaks for itself. Google tags there. So yeah, that's the thing that sets this particular, that makes it most prestigious open source program in the tech world, to be honest. So that's the thing. Now coming to the interesting part, that is stipend. So one person asked me what is the difference between Google Summer of Code and uh, Girl Script Summer of Code, right? So Girl Script Summer of Code is not sponsored by Google. It's especially designed for the newbies who are just stepping into the world of open source, and it's not sponsored. So that's the thing. My name, you will not get stipend and all everything. Google skip summer of code, but in Google Summer of Code, you get stipend. It varies from country to country. They have an index of calculation each year. It varies little here and there. So that's the stipend calculation thing. This is a huge motivating factor for a lot of students, but believe me, if this is your only motivation, do not contribute to open source, to be honest. Because if you just look into the stipend and try to contribute and get into our organization, the mentors will understand that you are here just for the tag and brand and not for the cause of making a software better. So they will understand your intentions through the application process, your communication style, and you won't be selected. Like, so your intentions have to be genuine. So that's the main thing. So preparing for GSoC. So the main part, the main question, the main magical question for everyone: how do I get into Google Summer of Code? How do I prepare for it? For example, if you everyone is most of the students are here from engineering background, right? Just the engineering students type spam yes in the chat once. Let me just see how how is the population of engineers are. Okay, okay, I understood. I understood. Yes, 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 yes. Engineer, okay, okay. So that's the thing. When you were encountered with joint entrance examination in class 11, how you started preparing? Just anyone can just explain their approach. How did they start from class 11? So what was their first approach? Because before that we do not have any idea that how we are going to crack this exam. So what was your approach for JE? Just type a brief thing. I'll be waiting. No worries. I'm not going anywhere until 8:15. I'm here. Listening lectures, practicing problems. Take one note from here, practicing problems. Find correct roadmap and mentor. Watch lectures, practice sample problems. Perfect. I don't prepare. Nice one. First, knowing syllabus. This is another point to be noted. First, knowing syllabus. Strengthening basics. This is the most important thing that is going to work in GSoC. Strengthening basics. Study pattern and syllabus of the exam. Study accordingly. Right. Okay. Learn basics first. Okay. First, I have got through the syllabus. Then it's strategies. Okay. Being consistent every day. This is getting personal. All right. All right. All right. Interesting. We have interesting people over here. So main thing is that previous year's question is not going to work in Google Summer of Code. That is only JE specific. That works. Brings back memories. All right. So preparing for GSoC is like, now see, the tech world has a lot of weapons, right? You will not be able to use each and every weapon. You do not know how to use each and every weapon that the tech world offers. You know handful, three or four, right? Or even one. So be good at using that one weapon. I'm talking about programming languages or frameworks. So be confident about a single tech stack and then start finding organizations who use that particular framework or tech stack. I'll show exactly how to do that, and I'll be walking you through how to find an organization according to your tech stack. So let's assume one thing. Someone from the chat type in their tech stack what they are confident working with, any tech stack. I'll be taking the first response. Done. React. React. Okay. So let's find organization for Ebenezer. So let me. Okay. So here's the page. Let me go to the personal GitHub once. Yeah. All right. I need the logged in version myself. Okay. So this is a mentor account. Let me switch to contributor account. Okay. So what we at this point of time, I know nothing about organizations. I just need to see what organizations are using React in their projects. So I go to Google Summer of Code 2024. Assume that I'm preparing for 2025. Right. So the weird part about Google Summer of Code is that they have awesome projects in their arsenal, but their own page that is hosted by Google is the slowest one. So this is a issue. Bear with this. It's a very ironic thing, to be honest, but it is how it is. Even the mentorship admin panel is very laggy. We submitted reviews about our contributors and it crashed down. So this is the irony of Google. Uh, let's wait. All right. Okay. Just in this particular search bar, type in React. Now you have these organizations who use React in at least one of their projects. Okay. So this is a very popular organization. Joblin is an awesome note-taking application. I've been personally using this since my Linux days. Awesome one. Let's go to one thing. Let's go to Jitsi. All right. Now Jitsi has an ideas list. You see, technologies are JavaScript, Java, React, Kotlin, and WebRTC. So something related to video callings or something. Some projects are related to that. Yes, yeah, video conferencing projects are there. So let's go to the ideas pages. So this is the page that they hosted for Google Summer 2024. Ah, so these are the list of projects. So what we can do, let's go to one of the projects. Promises, scraping, profile, dashboard. This doesn't go with our tech stack. So forget about that. JavaScript is there. Audio switchboard API. Keeping this in consideration. This also has JavaScript. Keeping this in consideration. Log analyzer. This doesn't have React. So this has React hardcode element. So this is our main target. So now we have three projects from an organization named Jitsi. So now see, you see there's a project that aligns with your tech stack. You go to that particular repository, go to the issues, and you search for an issue to solve. Okay, there was a lot of chat. Let me go to the chat once. I have a personal question. I love writing server-side code in Express. We'll get to that sometime. No worries. Uh, Core Chaudhary and all that. Java. Okay, we'll get to the server-side coordinates of this thing. Even with that particular thing, you will be able to find organizations. You just need to see organizations that use Express, and by this method, you'll be able to see that where they are using Express. So, in by this particular method of elimination, you'll be able to find projects and organizations that align with your tech stack. That's very important. If it doesn't align with your existing tech stack, do not try to learn a new tech stack just for the sake of getting into some of code. It, it is kind of a huge mishap or mismanagement that is going to occur. So you see a lot of issues. You try to solve one of them, get the local environment set up. You will be able to see that how the local environment has been set up. The JITSIMI documentation is there. You can you can see the guidelines for contributing. These are the certain standards that these organizations follow, so that you can set up the entire thing on your local machine. Get that running first, and then try to solve the issues. Now, while solving the issues, you will of course encounter problems. So what you can do, try to find their uh, contacts. All right. So let's go to contributing. Just the handbook. Somewhere around there, they have their Slack or mailing channel. Or if they do not have any mailing channel, what you can do, you can see mentors. Now you have to apply social engineering. Just go to LinkedIn, get their mail, directly mail them that I want to be in this particular organization. Send me a Slack invite or Teams invite, whatever the hell that they use. Get into the organization and start asking real questions that you are facing while solving the issue. There should be a mail link. No, that's not. This is the mailing list. This should do. Mailing lists are kind of not that active, but Jitsi uses a mailing list. We have been using a Slack. Most of the organizations use Slack. So that's email is there, but you see it's GSoC at the rate Jitsi.org. It's not a person, it's just the group admin. So this would get unnoticed, to be honest. I would prefer to I would prefer you go to one of the mentors LinkedIn page and try to reach out them from there, because that's what happens. They don't see the most easily accessible point of contact gets ignored the most. So that's the thing, because there's a lot of spam messages and all everything. And to be honest, a lot of people come up with stupid questions like, uh, would this organization be in GSoC 2025 or something like that? Is it going to reoccur? So these questions are never entertained. If the question is related to projects, related to contribution, related to improving the organization, they will for sure entertain your questions. So this is how you find yourself a project. This is how you find yourself an organization. Now, what I did, this was a very basic walkthrough. It gets complicated. It gets complicated a lot. I have been spending months, if not days, months finding the right organization for. And this is the most important part. Once you made up your mind that yes, this is the organization that I want to be in, stay loyal to that organization. Don't try to go here and there. At most, it should be two organizations. Don't try to get into three or four organizations at once. Try your best at a single organization. If your intentions are honest, if your intentions of improving their software is honest, you'll surely be noticed by the mentors. That's the entire thing the mentors look for. So it's the entire flow of finding an organization. So I hope you caught the flow of finding an organization. The step I did, you might have to do that 100 more times in order to get a proper idea that, yeah, this is the organization, this is the project I am comfortable in. I am able to contribute in this particular project, and now I'll be moving forward with this organization. So once that sense comes in your mind, lock it in and move forward. I told you the second part, contributing to the organization, is very important. So it gives a very positive impact for the mentors. So you are actually contributing before getting into some of code, and this contribution is very important, to be honest. This is what actually counts in. This is even more important than the actual proposal that you will be drafting. So keep contributing. Don't lose hope. Uh, One person told when I asked the JE topic, that is staying consistent. So when I was trying to find an organization, I made a promise to myself. This is in the year 2021, COVID times. I had to stay all day at home, so nothing else to do. I made a promise to myself that I would be issuing at least two pull requests, no matter what organization it is. I'll be issuing two pull requests for any projects that I feel that I can solve this issue, and I'll be issuing at least two pull requests per day. So that's what I did. There were days there where I was able to do only one, or there were some days where I wasn't able to do any pull requests, but I kept on contributing to a lot of organizations just for getting familiar with how organizations work. And through this contribution, through this repeated contribution, you will find one organization that will stick with you. You will find it at home. Emitters will reply you. Your PRs will get merged quickly. The tech stack, the project, you will see that you are able to understand that project much better than the other projects of other organizations. And at that point of time, you will stick in. So, and what I mean about sticking in is that keeping the contributions flowing in for that particular organization. So once you do that, 60% of your meal is cooked, and this rest 40% is just formalities, to be honest. So this is the main thing to get into these mentorship programs. Again, join their mailing list or Slack channel. Mailing lists are getting outdated. There should be a Slack channel somewhere. It might not be in the documentation or the thing. So try to reach out to the mentors, request if there is a Slack channel, please do add me. I'm interested and all everything. So get into that, get in the inner circle, and keep communicating. Now, this time we need to be a bit patient. I mean, not a bit patient. A lot of patience is required. Keep in mind that the mentors are people who have full-time jobs, and they are doing this mentorship just out of the love for open source. So there will be times when you will be receiving no replies from the mentors. They will make out their time, they will reply you, but you need to be patient. It might take them 2 days, it might even take them a week. They might even reply you on a weekend because they do this for their love for open source, right? So this is how where you should be patient. Alright. So that's the thing. It's just like waiting for slow replies from a crush. So that's the exact thing that's going to happen over here. So if you stay motivated, if you keep your patience, it will reward you someday. Maybe. Who knows? Alright, so keep iterating from step two, that is contributing the organization. join the Slack channel, communicate, and again repeat. So this is the entire thing that you should be repeating. Uh, I missed access Uday Marsh. Can you please share the particular Git profile that visited? You can just ask me, man. No issues. Yeah, I'll just go to or I'm just sending you the organization itself. This is a very good organization. It's a video editing tool, to be honest. Not video editing, video conferencing tool. Pretty nice. So I've been using it for a long time. Let me just paste it in the chat. Now it task. Alright. Okay. I hope that's there. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. So this is the entire step of preparing yourself. Alright. Now comes the formality part, to be honest. So I will get to that. First of all, from a mentor's point of view, what do we look into contributing? Right. So skill, honesty, contributions, and unique vision. It's just the things that I've been telling in and repeating the things. That is, you should be skillful in the tech stack that you're working in. You should be confident about that. And honesty is the main thing that we look into because most of the people do come up like just for the stipend and the tag, and your genuine intentions for improving a software is much necessary. So that's one thing that we look forward to. Contributions, right? More the contributions, the higher your chances are of getting accepted. And contributions, I mean real contributions, not like just a documentation edit or just fixing a typo. That's not the vision. Actual problem solving things. So that's and unique vision. That this part comes in the proposal part, so that your proposal should contain a vision that is unique. So what is your unique vision for the entire project? So that should be the main goal of your proposal. So key things to keep in mind for that is these are the things that I wrote down. Yes, read before you ask. For example, if something is already mentioned in the documentations of a project, do not ask a mentor about that because they will be redirecting you directly there. They'll be just telling you that it's written over there. Just look into it. So read the documentations thoroughly before reaching out to mentors. Be curious. Always ask why, when, how for the code part. But if you do not understand that, so they'll be happy to entertain you. So ask them. They'll be happy to help you. Keep contributing. I cannot emphasize this more. This is the main thing, to be honest. Keep contributing. For reference, if you want to say, sure, I can share the PPT. I'll be sharing that in the end of the entire thing. All right. Just remind me. Uh, in watch previous PRs that how people from the past have actually solved the issue. So that will give you a huge advantage, a huge insight. So explore previous merged PRs in order to get an idea of what are the coding practices they use, what kind of approach they use. So what's the previous PRs? Implement clean code. This is very important. Whatever code you write, whatever pull request you give, the code you write should be understood by the mentor. It should not be in some language or in a pattern that only you and God understands. No, everyone should understand that. Because once you leave the organization, God won't come up to debug that code, right? So it should be legible by anyone. If a third person comes in and reads the code, they should be able to understand, okay, this is the variable, this variable is used for this method is used for this is being called here, and this is the entire. the implement clean code. If your code is not cleaned, you will get a lot of change requests, and if you do not change accordingly, it provides a negative impact. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of not getting into what will happen if I do not get into this. If you do not get into Google Summer Code, there are thousand other options. It's not the end of the world. So that's it. And at the end of the day, what you did for the entire process, even if you do not get into Google Summer Code, remember that you learned a lot in this process. That's the most valuable thing. The next hackathon that you'll be going into, you'll be able to use those valuable insights from here. The next interview that you'll be going into, you'll be able to discuss about the open source contributions that you make. It's a win-win situation everywhere. So that's the main thing. And again, what I told, just do not scramble everything. Do not see if a project is very active and the tech stack that they are using is not your strong tech stack. Do not try to master that. Be your own, be confident about the tech stack that you are comfortable with. So don't be this person, jack of all trades, master of none, because it gets you nowhere, to be honest. You won't be able to learn anything. At the end of the day, you will be sitting in front of the monitor with your eyes itching and nothing on your brain. So that's, don't be that person. I've seen a lot of people like this. Comes to the formality, the application. Just a proposal, a PDF, a Word document that you will be making, and explaining the ideas that we'll be bringing in the Google Summer of Code period. Simple as that. Be concise, be to the point, don't lie, and that's it. So this is the main thing. Now, the mentors look for certain parameters in these proposals. So you might be a very good contributor, but you should have a decent amount of technical writing skills. Because in open source, you will have to explain your code through comments and through documentations. So that's very important. So the technical writing approach of these particular proposals are scrutinized, and these are the parts of proposals that one must have. It's your biodata, where you belong, your time zone, your college, the project that you're now, the project abstract, the project that you're planning to work in, that idea of the project, sample mock-ups of the prototypes that you are going to build, excuse me, and the entire timeline that during the whole sum of period, a week by week timeline that what you are going to develop. So that's the thing. Do not forget to mention your previous contributions to the organization that you did in the preparation phase and your plans after GSoC. So what kind of relationship that you want to carry forward with this organization after Google Summer of Code. So explain that honestly. That's the thing. Now, what I have been doing this year as a mentor. So I look for three things in a proposal. That is previous contributions. First of all, I skip to all parts and review the contributions of that particular person. See what they are trying to bring in during the Google Summer of Code period, if there are any mockups or anything. And I like to do a background check for that person. I like to see that the project that he or she is applying, does that match with the tech stack that he or she has proclaimed in LinkedIn or in the resume that they are confident in. So if there's a mismatch, that's a flag for me. So that's one thing. So what you can do is that there's a huge duration of the first day of proposal submission and last day of proposal submission. Submit it in the first day itself and ask the mentors to review those, proposals. They will be happy to review that and provide feedbacks. Also, have patience, just like you have patience while getting reply from your trust. So have patience. They will reply. and this iteration goes for around 5 to 3 times. After this 5 to 3 iterations, your proposal is nearly perfect in the eyes of mentors. So that's the thing. Listen to them, make those changes. It's gonna work. The work. Now we have been accepted into Google Summer of Code. Now I have to work. So there are 3 to 4 phases of work here. First phase is not mentioned here, that is euphoria. I mean the joy of getting into Google Summer of Code. It lasts 2 to 3 days, and then starts community bonding period. So in this particular period, the mentors will provide you with KT sessions and walk you through the entire project, discuss their plans, their expectations from you, and will give you time to set up the project and bond with the other contributors, also the mentors. So use this time to the fullest. Get yourself familiar with the organization. Get yourself familiar with other contributors, fellow contributors. Believe me, once you get into that, your fellow contributors are going to be one of the best persons that you have ever come across. So, and it's a great opportunity to make international friends. That's it. That's the community bonding period. Now to the coming to the official coding period where you actually start coding, actually solving problems and the issues. So this varies greatly from organization to organization, and this is the actual coding part. So you'll be provided with problems, you'll be provided with deliverables, you'll be coding, deliver them. There'll be weekly meetings, weekly project meetings, weekly organization meetings, or maybe bi bi-weekly stand-ups or something like that. So these things will be in process for around 1.5 months, and then it will be the midterm evaluation. So for the past 1.5 months, what you have been providing to the organization, that will be evaluated and will be seen that is this up to the standard of expectation or not. So if that's up to the standard of expectation, that means you have delivered according to the things that you've said in your proposal, you pass and go to the second round. That is the second part of official coding period. Same thing repeats itself. Now you have to prepare a blog post or a record of what you actually did in the coding period. So you'll be creating your journal and you'll be submitting that journal in the final documentation and evaluation. So after this, there will be a friendly call for the whole organization. They'll be congratulating you, and now you're a Google Summer of Code contributor. Congratulations. That's the entire process. That's what happens. So that's it for Google Summer of Code. So not I'm not going to end this here. Don't worry. So any questions regarding Google Summer of Code till now? I want to see the questions flooding in because after this I'll be moving over to other mentorship programs that there are in the open source world, and then we can just sorry Gurujit, we cannot provide reference proposals. It's not good to provide you proposals that were rejected, but through the Google's code of conduct, you should not be sharing proposals that were accepted in a program. So that's one thing. If you do search in Google, you will find some proposals that were leaked, but it's unethical. You should be doing that on your own. And reach out to the mentors of the particular organization, ask them for formats if they do have any. Okay, let the questions flood in. I'm a beginner. What should I start learning if I want to get in? First of all, master version control, that is Git. Master yourself in Git. Get yourself familiar with open source. At first, try with documentation edits and all everything. Then find your comfort zone. Find your tech stack that you are most comfortable in. And then you know the process itself. Why the coding period is in 2 parts. For example, if a person comes in, gives a good proposal, does a good contribution, and get into the first part, gets into Google Summer of Code, and then just stops responding, So just there's a buffer time. So they just filter out students who are not at all contributing in the midterm and just eliminate them. So that's why there are two parts: first part and second part. That's it. That's a filtration process, nothing else. The questions, I'll be taking in questions for another 5 to 6 minutes, and then I'll be showing chart with a lot of mentorship programs. Any other questions? Any questions that is related to motivation? Any questions related to tech part of the Google Sum of Code? Are there some absolute do's and don'ts regarding open source contribution? The absolute do's are: keep your code clean, communicate professionally, communicate, follow the community guidelines. They are uh, they vary from organization to organization, and do not ask a mentor about the things that are already mentioned in um, documentation, and do not spam with PRs with useless stuff. So that's the one. Do not do that. That provides a huge negative impact. Is contributing consistently makes selected? Sure, it does makes a huge positive impact. It does make it. Is there a chance for rejection when we apply for organization? Yes, there is. Yes, there is a rejection chance. You can at most apply for 3 projects across various organizations. So yes, there is a chance for rejection when we apply for organization. Not related to Wilson of code, but which keyboard are you using? I like this. This particular keyboard is discontinued. It's Red Dragon Kumara K552. I did mod it up a bit. So yeah, thank you for that. When does Will Summer's code start each year? It starts from May. The application part starts from April. But if you want to get into our organization, start finding it right now from October itself. How just not fall into a trap of learning everything as a big how just not fall into a trap of learning everything as a beginner? How can you get good at one tech stack? Develop projects with the tech stack that you feel you are comfortable with. Develop 2 or 3 projects. You will get hold of it. If you do feel like that this particular tech stack is okay with me while contributing or while developing projects, you will understand it's a feeling that comes from within, to be honest, while developing projects. So you will be able to see that the project is flowing smooth. Once you get that feeling, stay with that tech stack. And I won't say don't learn anything other than that, explore it, but do not lose your main focus. Just specialize on one particular thing, because other than that, it would be a messy situation at the end of a year, because you won't be mastering anything, but you will be knowing bit of everything, which is useless. What if we get rejected in all what we applied? We can apply for other mentorships. GSoC is not the end of the world. What will improve our selection? Contributions, communications, and a good proposal. These are the main things. But same things, if you do develop, there are other mentorship programs that offer huge recognition at par with Google's. So you'll be trying to get into those. So that's the thing. As a beginner, most of us eventually rush into every organization, resulting in no selection at all. How to make up with that? No, I shouldn't be telling that approach. One thing came in my mind. But now, see, if you get multiple offers, you only have to accept one, right? You get the idea. You get multiple offers, but you only have one place to give someone. Choose that wisely. Choose the organization like choosing a person. Which one replies the most? Which one feels like home? Which one is I am most comfortable with? Which one's setup was the easiest for me? Which one I can contribute more? If these things check upon, choose that one organization, stay loyal to it. It is worth it. Treat organizations as people. It works. I tried to put up in a formal way, but yeah, kind of yeah. Partner, yeah. Organizations are more loyal than partners, to be honest, these days. You can rely on an organization much more than a person. You actually got it. All right, other questions. Otherwise, let's move to this beautiful chart. Sorry, always have 10,000 tabs open, so pardon me. I think I just lost it. My goodness. It should be here. No, this is not. Be organized in your daily life. Yeah, this is it. So we have 2 more minutes for questions to flood the questions in, and then last 5 minutes I'll be sharing this particular page where you can go and actually, I mean, find out other mentorship programs. Let the questions flood in, and then we will get into this. You have to agree, man. It's good to see around 50 people turn up on a holiday. That's nice. All right, 1 more minute, and then we move to this particular thing. They are very senior developers, of course. Right? We can consider there are also competitors. Believe me, they are not. Believe me, they are not. Uh, you are senior developer. When a senior developer, I mean, having 1 or 2 years of experience, yes, they are on the same ground as you. But more than that, believe me, if someone with more than 2 years of experience applies for a contribute for our organization, the mentors know that this person is not here to learn, but just here for the money and tag. So they won't be accepted. So that's it. That's how we know that what people are for what. So that's the way of approach. We can apply up to 3 organizations. So suppose there's a scenario where we are selected by 2 orgs. You won't be selected by 2 orgs. That's how the system works. If 2 organizations select you, then there will be a system in Google's mentorship management platform that will allocate you to one particular project, and the other one will get rejected. So that's the thing. Don't try that and while choosing persons. The result might be catastrophic. There is no moderating system in real life. All right. So moving into this particular open source program and internships thing, this is one. This person made a particular thing. This is a golden thing. There's a timeline from now till registration starts. One thing that you can do is that let me just show you. You can go to Google Summer of Codes page. At the down, you will see timeline, 2024 timeline. So entire 2024 timeline you have seen. So the site gets updated each and every now and then. So once the 2025 program comes up, it will have the 2025 timeline. You can get a hold of the timeline, and it's generally stays the same. It just moves here and there by a week or so. So yeah, that's it. Oh, so this thing, now see, let's assume didn't get into Google Summer. No worries. There are so many options. So many. GSoC is also there. There are so many options with this, so many with each and every detailed timelines. Girls, you have better chance of getting into Google some. I mean, open source programs, because there are certain programs that are only for girls. Sorry, girls, can't do anything. The world is designed like that. So explore these alternatives. Explore these alternatives. Because these things are as valuable as Google. Do not ignore them. I won't be able to go through each and every them, but Outreachy, uh, Igalia Coding Experience Program, these are all very reputed sources and reputed credentials to have in your resume. You might find some of these programs are discontinued, so bear with that. It's a bit old because it didn't get updated for a year or two. So it's just 4 months have been updated, but still some of them are not continued. So be if you do like competition, there are open source competitions, and if you do have planning of higher studies, please emphasize on university summer course. So that's in India we have Khartoum code and all everything. So that's it provides great recognition to the host. So that's the alternative part. So these things, the requirements to get into this is exactly the same as Google Summer of Code. Maybe you will have to interview with the mentor in some of the programs, but these are great programs to be in. Trust me. That's it, to be honest. And someone wanted I mean, this thing. I'll share that. And you can find socials and all everything from this particular QR code. So you can send me, text me, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. I'll be there with your queries. And thanks for attending this session. Thanks for being such an awesome crowd. That's it from my side. Myself, Soham, signing off. Thank you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, thanks, Shonda, for such an insightful session. It was a very lovely session. If you liked today's session, go to the social handles LinkedIn and post about this session by tagging GTGC, RCCIIT, RCTEX, and Shohamda. And thanks to everyone here, the participants especially, for joining the session. I hope you got to learn a lot from it, and I personally got very motivated. So thanks. That's all from our side. More such sessions will keep coming. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks, Shonda, again. Yeah, so I'll be ending today's session. Uh, if you have any questions, you can ask here, or you can connect with Shonda as well.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'll be ending the session. Good night, everyone.